Most job seekers are competing with dozens, sometimes hundreds of other applicants for the same position. They send the same resume, write the same cover letter, and wait for a response from a process designed to screen out the majority before anyone has a meaningful conversation. The informational interview bypasses most of this. It is not a job application. It is a strategic conversation, conducted before the job is advertised, or alongside the application process, or even in the absence of a specific opening, that builds relationships, gathers career intelligence, and positions the job seeker as a known and respected professional, rather than a name in a pile of PDF files. Used systematically, the informational interview is one of the most powerful and least utilized tools in any professional's career development toolkit. This video is the step-by-step guide to using it to land a new role. The first milestone is understanding what an informational interview is and what it is not. An informational interview is a brief, structured conversation with a professional in a role, company, or industry you want to learn more about, conducted for the explicit purpose of gaining insight rather than asking for a job. This distinction is not semantic. It is strategic. When a job seeker contacts a professional and says, "I am looking for a job and I was hoping you could help," the professional must evaluate whether they have a job to offer. Most of the time, they do not, and the conversation is brief and transactional. When a job seeker contacts the same professional and says, "I am considering a transition into this field, and I would value 15 minutes of your perspective," the professional is invited to share expertise, which most professionals are genuinely willing to do, and a genuine conversation occurs. The informational interview is a research mechanism, a relationship-building tool, and a visibility investment simultaneously. Research from LinkedIn and multiple career development organizations consistently shows that a significant percentage of jobs, estimates range from 70 to 85% in some markets, are filled through personal networks or direct referral before they are formally advertised. The informational interview is how professionals build the network that gains access to that invisible market. The second milestone is identifying and approaching targets, who to request informational interviews with, and how to make the request effectively. There are 4 categories of valuable informational interview targets. Current professionals in roles you want to transition into. They provide the most accurate picture of what the role and career path actually look like. Leaders in organizations where you want to work. They provide organizational insight and become aware of you as a professional before any opening exists. Alumni from your educational institution. They are statistically among the most receptive to requests because of the shared affiliation. People 2 or 3 steps ahead on a career path you are considering. They can speak to the journey from where you are now to where you want to be. Making the request effectively means making it easy to say yes. The request should be brief, 3 to 5 sentences. It should explain who you are in 1 sentence. State the specific reason you want to speak with this person. Make a clear and limited time request and remove friction. I would value 20 minutes of your perspective on the transition you made from corporate finance into private equity. I have been researching this path for 6 months, and your experience would be particularly relevant. Would a 20-minute call work for you at any point in the next few weeks? This request takes 15 seconds to read and requires only a yes or a no. The third milestone is the interview itself, the structure and discipline that makes the conversation genuinely valuable for both parties. 3 principles govern a well-conducted informational interview. First, thorough preparation. Research the person's background, their organization, and their career path before the meeting. Prepared questions demonstrate respect for the professional's time and generate better conversations than generic queries. Second, listen more than talk. The informational interview is primarily an intelligence-gathering exercise. Asking genuine questions and listening carefully to the answers is more valuable than impressing the contact with your background. Third, strategic questions, the questions most likely to generate useful intelligence and memorable impression. What do you know now that you wish you had known when you were at my stage in this field? What does the hiring process for this type of role actually look for beyond what job descriptions say? Is there someone else you would recommend I speak with? Close with a clear follow-up action. Send a specific thank you within 24 hours. Reference something specific from the conversation, and do not immediately ask for a job referral. The relationship is the asset. The referral, if it comes from the relationship. Here's the trap. Many professionals use informational interviews once or twice and abandon the practice because it does not immediately produce a job offer. Informational interviewing is a compounding practice. The value is in the network built over multiple conversations. Each conversation expands the network, improves the intelligence base, and increases the probability of a warm introduction to the next opportunity. Your go-to. Identify 3 professionals currently working in roles or organizations you are interested in. Write the connection request message for each using the structure above. Send the first one today. The skills that make informational interviews productive, asking good questions, listening well, communicating clearly, are exactly what the video on active listening and the video on one-on-one job interviews cover. Make those your next stops. The informational interview strategy connects directly to what career development researchers call weak tie theory. The sociological finding, first articulated by Stanford sociologist Mark Granovetter, that the most valuable professional opportunities typically arrive not through close relationships, but through weak ties. Acquaintances, former colleagues, professional contacts who exist at the periphery of the current network rather than at its center. The counterintuitive logic is that strong tie networks, the close colleagues and friends who know each other well, are information redundant. They all know the same things, the same people, and the same opportunities. Weak ties, by contrast, are bridges to information and opportunities that exist in different social and professional networks. Informational interviews are one of the most effective mechanisms for building high-quality weak ties at scale. LinkedIn has created the infrastructure for informational interview outreach that would have been logistically difficult to execute at this scale in earlier professional eras. The ability to search specifically for professionals by role, company, industry, and career trajectory, to see shared connections and affiliations, and to make direct contact through a warm or cold message has democratized access to the network conversations that were previously available primarily to those with existing elite connections. The professional who learns to use LinkedIn purposefully, not as a passive resume repository, but as an active relationship-building tool, has access to a far larger and more diverse network than any physical professional environment could provide. The informational interview also has a powerful ancillary benefit that is rarely discussed explicitly. It accelerates career clarity. Many professionals who are considering a transition are uncertain, not just about how to make the move, but about whether the destination is genuinely what they want. Informational interviews with people who are already in the target role, organization, or industry provide reality-tested intelligence that no amount of online research can substitute. The job that sounds compelling in a job description or on a company website looks different after a genuine conversation with 3 people who are doing it every day. That intelligence, whether it confirms or complicates the original aspiration, is among the most valuable career development data available. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, hit like and subscribe to our channel for more practical insights. And if you're ready to go further, check out the next video on your screen.